And we are back once again here in the arena with the last map of that first series coming up in just a bit. And we saw a lot of action already. It's been great to watch those guys play it out once again, as we already saw them going up against each other during the preseason. And what we saw a lot of during the preseason for the team of the Valiant was Silk Thread. Agilities was not eligible to actually play. Now he is, and we already saw him making an immediate impact on his Genji as well as his Junkrat. Now, of course, I had a quick chat with their coach, Cuddles, to ask what Silk Thread and Agility bring to the table for that team. And he explained to me that Silk Thread is really the player who allows them to slow the game down. We did see that happen on Ilias, on his Pharah. Meanwhile, Agilities is the one who allows them for more aggressive kind of styles, as we saw map 1 and 2 on that Junkrat, as well as the Genji. So it's very interesting to see how they're subbing in those two players for the rest of the season, and of course also for that last map, and we're getting ready for just that one. So let's head it back to our casters.
Thank you, Zoe. I am pumped to go into map number 4 between LA Valiant and San Francisco Shock. The game's been so good, Monte Cristo. Even Keith Olbermann might be impressed.
I don't know if anything can impress that guy.
I'm a little bit worried about him, though, because his tweet right after that was, "Help, I've fallen and I can't get up." So we're pulling for you, Keith. Don't worry. Let's check out the subs going into our next game here between LA Valiant and San Francisco Shock. No subs, actually. That's right. I don't want no subs.
No, I never want no subs.
We're just going to Numbani instead.
Yeah, we did see Numbani in this series. It was a 5-4 win for the Valiant, but as much as we saw from the Shock, they were very successful again in the preseason match on their first pushes, but they ran out of gas towards the end. It was their 8th out of 9 maps that they were consecutively playing that day. So can they adapt a little bit better? There were some positioning problems, particularly from Dante, who was getting picked off early on Numbani last time. So we'll see if he's cleaned up some of the tactical errors that he was making in relation to his teammates.
That's right. Numbani, a map the LA Valiant won pretty convincingly in their preseason match against San Francisco Shock. A chance to do it again here and make the first series in the Overwatch League a 4-0 sweep. I think a lot of people were predicting that 3-1 with San Francisco winning that last map, but now that it hasn't happened, kind of looking like it's going to go one way.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, that we haven't seen any substitutes over from the Shock at this point in time.
Yeah.
And going back to what Zoe was saying from the coach of the Valiant, it does make a lot of sense. Even if we watch both Silk Thread and Agilities play this Genji over the course of this series, oftentimes you'll see Silk Thread holding on to his ultimate and playing more of a reactive style to the Dragon Blade, waiting for people to engage, whereas always the hallmark of the Fate Agilities duo was Fate jumps in, puts the bubble down, and here comes Agilities hot on his heels with a blade out and ready to cut through the enemy team on an engage.
Yeah, they did try that a bit with Silk Thread too in the preseason, just enabling the Genji with things like the Transcendence, things like the Winston bubble. They know how to help their Genji out, that's for sure.
Certainly a team that's used to playing around it, and this is the advantage you have with Silk Thread. He does have that Soldier 76, which we often see on the high ground on the defense on Numbani, and it's often a dive that is necessary to move him out of position. So we'll see how Nevix and Nomi and Baby Bay will react, and if we are going to see a quick flank, they're going to use their dash abilities to get up, and they're going to wait for the cooldowns to come back before they peek around this corner.
Yeah, you want to put some pressure on the high ground, and there it goes. Winston going in already. They're going to turn onto Fate. He's separated from the rest of his team. Sleepy goes down early. I feel like I've said that a lot this match. Dak follows too, so LA Valiant, despite losing their Winston, have already taken out both supports, and Nevix's Mini Diva not going to last too long against Silk Thread in the game. And how did they kill the supports for San Francisco so fast?
They were coming in from the low ground, so not a lot of cover, and Silk Thread dropped down and got the angle on them as they were trying to come in and support. Nevix, too. Nevix and Fate went different directions there. It was Fate trying to knock the members off the high ground, and Nevix attempting to curl around to the left-hand side to get a pick himself. So better coordination needed, target selection going to be a problem in that first attack for the Shock.
True enough. Baby Bay waiting for that sweet, sweet dash. There he goes, going to the back line. Zunko forced it back away. Pulse Bomb comes in and catches Fate. And now a great position on the point San Francisco has. I became Yoda for a second there. I'm back now, guys.
I look forward to your Yoda casting, Dota.
You do, I know. Valiant trying to get back onto the point, but it looks like, for now, they're going to be able to hold. As Silk Thread pops that attack visor, and that's going to be all she wrote for San Francisco for the moment. Nevic's just kind of hanging out, trying to get to the edge as the diva. But again, you want to delay that mini diva from getting back into the mech as long as you can, and that's another pretty rough stake of respawn for Shock to deal with.
How many times have we seen this? Dak with an ultimate reset, and Kareem and Unko sitting on both of theirs. Nevix manages to barely get back into his mech, but can't survive much longer after that.
Yeah.
Staggering the diva as long as they can.
All right, they're back. Shock ready for another attack here, going in. Same place, same dive. Will it be the same result? Unko low already. They're going to bring in the Transcendence with it. Fate back by himself on the high ground. A little bit low. Dante finds that kill there, and here comes the Dragon Blade for Baby Bay, looking for targets. That self-destruct, though, already zoning. San Francisco, he can't get the kill, though. Onto Kareem with it. And that is pretty rough for Shock. Wow, they used everything there.
He could not go in Doa because Unko was using Transcendence on the point. San Francisco has lost control of the knowledge of when their enemies have ultimates. They definitely know that Transcendence is out. There was not really an attempt at a bait right there. On the plus side, they did get the Valkyrie out as well, so at least Dak will be coming up with an ability in about 50 seconds, or 50% rather, that might change this situation in their favor, but they don't have much time.
Now Silk Thread has that tactical visor on Soldier 76 ready to go again. If he wants to use it, has to stay awake though. Envy backing down to the corridor. They've already chased the tanks back yet again. The dive didn't even happen. Oh, nice shot. Oh, but Sleepy comes back with the responding right click. And Dak soon to fall too. So LA Valiant still staying strong, and it's down to 30 seconds left for Shock to attack.
And they needed Dak to stay alive to get the Valkyrie up. Now everybody has to fall back. They need to provide him a target to dash to get back into spawn as fast as possible. It's their really only hope. Transcendence will be up though. So this is their chance. They may be able to push this one through. It depends on the timing of Silk Thread's tactical visor.
Well, right up through the middle comes San Francisco Shock, and Fate responds with a Primal Rage into the back lines, just keeping everybody away from the point. Returns to safety for the moment. Goes in on a Nevix who's diving the supports. There's the attack visor now for Silk Thread, trying to find some kills. Baby Bay looking for his own as well. It's a brawl again on the point, but so far so good for Valkyrie. Here comes Dak. Both supports ultimates used. Can they use it? Can they get enough to at least get the payload rolling? Silk Thread on his own.
Trying to play in and outside that bubble. He's going to go down.
Away.
Can't get. Oh, actually, it looks like he did barely get to the mega health back. They're going to have to turn on him right now.
It's not going to matter, though. San Francisco Shock will finally claim the point and move the payload.
But the price was huge. Fate used his Primal Rage early because he was hoping to draw out a Transcendence before they could fight with it on the point. Finally, some discipline from the Shock. Not cowed by that ability. Knew they had enough time to push him off, get onto the point, and get the value from the Transcendence. Unko going to be coming back with a Transcendence of his own, but you know, that was nice.
Oh, I love it. Sleepy more than ready that time. He's like, all right, I'm sick of being picked on. It's time for Zenyatta to take matters into his own robotic hands.
And they got 2 minutes, so this is a point B, one of the easier points to take. Very rarely see holds here in professional Overwatch.
Yep. It's a tough point to hold at any level of the game. Baby Bay on that McCree. Expects the Tracer to come in, but doesn't find it with that flashbang. Fate getting in the back lines now. Baby Bay has to take the long way around the bust. The Transcendence has to be used by Sleepy to deny the attack. San Francisco pushed back already, and they don't have the time to deal with things like this. They need to keep this payload moving.
Yeah, Baby Bay missing the flashbang. And now they're going to stagger this diva, try and keep her alive as long as they can.
Yep.
Nevic's going to reset by leaping off the map. Silk Thread will join.
Because why not, you know?
Why not?
Why not?
He's got the tack visor.
I thought I had a parachute. You didn't, soldier.
60 seconds remaining.
Doesn't have a backpack on.
Nope.
Not going to be able to survive those leaps off the edge.
Wrong skin.
You know, you don't take any fall damage in this game, so I'm surprised you can't actually die from falling off the edge.
You know, there is such a thing as too far, I guess, you know?
Terminal velocity.
That's right. That's what gets you. Yeah, Baby Bay getting gotten by Envy's Rockets meanwhile. San Francisco trying to fight for their lives here as Valiant comes in one more time. Sleepy playing it very safe on the sides here, but not quite safe enough as Valiant does find him in the end. Nomi kind of on his own here with his other tank, but he and Nevix can't get too much done, and with less than 20 seconds remaining, you wonder if we are going to in fact see that point be hold.
I mean, it may be a miracle if they can actually get back to the payload right now. Spawn camping will be the name of the game.
Yeah, there's a self-destruct. Envy needs to stay alive, gets back into the mech just in time. He caught Dante with that too. And Nomi trying to get to the payload. He's there with Primal Rage, and now he's a sneaky raging gorilla. Oh, but he has found out in the end. Not gonna last too much longer. OT ticking away, and it is rare, but it happens, Monte Cristo. A point B hold for LA Valiant.
It's been a while since we've
been.
seen one of those in professional Overwatch, but that's the credit that Valiant draining so much time off the clock and coming into the second leg of the map with a significant ultimate advantage.
Right. Well, it's going to be a tough order for San Francisco Shock to come away from this one with a map win. They've more or less got to get pretty much a full hold on point A. They can't even let that payload get moving.
Or they get the barely any time left on the clock, get those 2 minutes, and then manage to spawn camp successfully, which is usually the purview of teams that have been playing more aggressively than we've seen San Francisco play today.
That's right. Well, LA Valiant crowd, a lot to cheer about today. Certainly a strong showing coming out of these guys, as I think we kind of expected. It's a solid roster built on that Immortals core that we saw earlier in the summer in Contenders.
They did a good job of adding depth and picking up some of the free agents after the franchising process was complete. And one of the things, too, is they held on to Envy, who was a player that really underperformed in Season 1. But the difference in his play between the end of Season 1 and the Overwatch League preseason was immense. He's probably, for me, the most improved player that we saw in the entire league. So
I totally agree, man. I mean, you really can't say enough about where Envy was compared to where he is now as a player on an individual level. Really, really night and day coming into Overwatch League.
It also helps that we're in a bit of a different meta now. We see more of his Diva, less of his Zarya, which I think was his most problematic hero.
Yeah, true enough. LA Valiant on the attack here. All they need to do is take that point and then push the payload just a bit through point B to make it a 4-0 here in their first match in Overwatch League. Let's see if San Francisco Shock can deny them.
An Ana sighting here on defense from Shock. This is a hero that's typically used because of her strength on the high ground. She can retreat into the corridor on the opposite side of the point, sleep dart somebody, and protect that soldier 76.
Soon already being annoying on that Tracer.
Baby
Bay, very low. Can he finish him? He can. And can he deny the res? That's the question. Maybe he can. Dak doesn't seem to be there. He does. Actually, Dak has to... Well, I don't know.
Soon going to fall back right now.
Good.
The success, though, is that we already see the Valiant controlling the high ground and pushing them back, and now it has to be a re-engage from the Shock.
Yep.
Soon going to pull his all the way back up onto the high ground. Silk Thread waiting for his teammates to join him. They got 1 tick, so a nice start.
Good first push.
Good start for the first push. They are going to try to take over the far side of this point this time, so a less aggressive approach from the Valiant. They're going to be looking to poke.
Yeah. Diving on again. They've got Shock bobbled up into that hallway for the moment. Trying to break out now, but Silk Thread has that tactical visor ready to go. Needs to worry about the flank, of course. Getting fired upon by Dante. There's the tactical visor. Envy getting pushed back again. Great start for LA Valiant already. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one to hold. The res comes in. Dak can't get anything done with that Valkyrie.
Dak was too far away. Dante died on the opposite side of the point, trying to poke Silk Thread from long range. Didn't respect the tactical visor. And so the Tracer is deleted and not able to be brought back into the fight by the Resurrection. Baby Bay trying to find some sort of pick right here, but this is going to be a very effective push from the Valiant, and they still have their Valkyrie.
I mean, getting those 2 kills at the very end is absolutely disastrous for Shock, because remember, that payload doesn't need to go very far for Valiant to win this one. That's all.
Yeah.
So it's going to take Shock even longer to set up.
And the punishments are coming. Even those little things like soon forcing a recall means that Dante can't play aggressively. He can't try and go poke onto the point. He can't try and stall the cart.
Yep. Now soon, lurking, waiting for that pulse bomb. One good one would mean the win for his team.
Here we go.
And
Pulse bomb, no.
Yep. Oh,
that was eaten.
Yep.
Nice
Nevix
diva
got
play.
Nevix got there just in time with the diva. That was close, man. But he was waiting. He knew that pulse bomb was coming.
But look at the cost, though, from San Francisco Shock. Okay, now they're going to have to pull out the Primal Rage, see if they can distract them for long enough. Dak will get the resurrection onto Dante, but Silk Thread just waiting patiently with his tactical visor.
Yeah. Silk Thread, silky smooth with this play so far today. There's a Transcendence in response to the ultimate. Transused on both sides.
He's on
dropped
Bastion.
his as well. Yeah, it's desperation Bastion time, man.
Well, he's gonna try and get an angle here and punish them as they approach the cart. I mean, and see what he can do with it.
Yeah, desperation doesn't mean bad. Kariv did get picked by Sleepy, so the Zenyatta strikes back. And although we are only 1 meter away from Valiant taking this one, Shock trying desperately to stabilize. They're barely
got
close.
Nevix's back. So this is happening. We do have the Bastion just firing in from the side. They're going to regroup a long-range poke composition. Envy still here, trying to make his way forward. He's going to punish them on this long approach. Can he get into position? If he can get into the turret form over here, this is where he wants to be.
Yeah, that's right. Winston doesn't last long. Payload gets there, and LA Valiant will defeat San Francisco Shock in a 4-0.
That was a cute swap by Envy.
I liked
and
it.
Envy as a player, we've seen more of his Soldier 76 now. So he is presenting as an alternative third DPS threat for this roster. Clever change right at the very end. He knew they had to get on top of the cart. It's like shooting fish in a barrel for the Bastion.
Yep, that's right. Well, a great first match here in the inaugural season of the Overwatch League. So far, SoCal beats NorCal. And a lot to think about as we go into a break, guys. We'll be back with more Overwatch action right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP and by Intel.
Check me out.
Our first match of the Overwatch League regular season is now in the books. The Valiant sitting up top of the leaderboard at 1-0, and we got to break down all of the action we just saw over the last 4 games. To do it, we have Sideshow and Bren, who are both terribly wrong in your predictions. Both of you called a Game 5. Meanwhile, Zoe called the perfect score of a 4-0 in favor of Valiant. She nailed it. You were way off. Let's talk about why you were wrong.
I mean, way off, sure, but we predicted the right team to win, and we thought it would be a close game. Judging from the preseason, we were expecting San Francisco Shock to be, I think, a little more coordinated and have a bit more punch to their style than we actually saw from them. LA Valiant dismantled them. San Francisco Shock, for me, this is a bit of an underperformance.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree with that. San Francisco, we thought coming into this they'd have a bit more of a different play style compared to just solely revolving around Baby Bay, but that just wasn't really the case. LA Valiant took full advantage of that.
Listen, if you have players coming in new, emotional, and they peak in the preseason, that doesn't look good for San Francisco Shock moving forward.
San Fran was handed 4 straight map losses, and the third one was a bit of a surprise because coming into Ilios, both of you said this is the map that Shock takes. This is how they bounce back. They're better at control. You can put your Lucio back in the game for Dak, but it didn't work out. Where did things go wrong for him?
I think one of the big factors there was Fate and how well he was playing. If we take a look at some statistics of Fate on the Ilios there, he was outperforming Nomi quite fantastically. So he had a huge amount of hero damage done, and he was playing a much more aggressive style than Nomi was. Nomi didn't have as much impact. Now, Fate did 51% more damage than Nomi across the entire series, and almost twice that on Ilios specifically. He was charging his ultimates 22% faster. He was using them much more effectively, so I think this was a fantastic performance from the Korean tank player on the Los Angeles Valiant. This was great from him.
Great stuff from the main tank. Envy as well on the tanks. Incredible play throughout this one. But let's talk about Valiant's greatest asset. And for me, that was probably the DPS today. You had the tanks clearing the way, and the DPS was constantly shutting down what the Shock was trying to set up. And we saw Soon. Soon was played in all 4 games. The Tracer/Widowmaker was in all 4 lineups. But Agilities and Silk Thread split the time 2-2. When do you use these guys? Because Zoe was talking about, you know, with Agilities, you can be a bit more aggressive. With Silk Thread, you can be more passive.
Yeah, for me, it does come down to their playstyles a little bit, but they also have slightly different hero pools. Agilities is really known for his Genji play, has been one of the best Genjis from North America, and we also saw him play a bit of Junkrat. For me, Silk Thread is more well-rounded.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. It's a case of different play styles for sure. A similar team that does the same with their DPS players would be Seoul Dynasty that we're going to be seeing later today, where they swap in their DPS players for different play styles and depending on what they're trying to achieve. And you could see that today. Silk Thread, like you said, a bit more passive, a bit more all-rounded, I guess. Whereas, you know, Agilities being the aggressor, very, very ballsy, you know, Genji player all around.
All right, let's give the overall grade score here for the Valiant. They walk away with 4 map wins. Out of 10, Sideshow, where do you rank them right now?
Out of 10. I think out of 12, out of the 12 teams that we have, I'm going to twist it. I think that they're looking pretty good for a playoff spot if they keep up this kind of performance. This is definitely what we wanted to see from them if they're going to reach their potential.
Are you saying 5, 6, or top 4? Because 6 get into the playoffs. That's very vague. You said they're in the top 50%.
Yeah, I think they'll make the playoffs. They have a chance to make top 4. If they continue this performance, they have to upset a very good team, but they could make it.
Bren, flip side?
I do not believe top 4. I feel like it's going to be, I do feel like they're a playoff team for sure, but it's going to be bottom playoffs. There's too much talent in the league with the other teams for them to make that top
Well, we
spot.
have so many more games for the Valiant to play before playoffs, but we do want to highlight one player in particular from this matchup. This is our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. And I think we all can agree it's got to go to Soon. The Frenchman was going off in all 4 games.
He went absolutely bananas throughout the course of this whole series. His play on Tracer as well was phenomenal. Coming into it, he looks like he's gelled with the Los Angeles Valiant beautifully, and he was able to pull out the Widowmaker and throw San Francisco Shock in the dumpster a couple of times as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like I mentioned him before the games even began that he would be really a player to watch for in this game, and he didn't disappoint in the slightest. He flexed onto Widowmaker multiple times. We haven't seen him really do that much when he was on the Rogue roster beforehand, and yet still was bringing the pain to Baby Bay. So I gotta say, super impressed of it.
Soon, that is our player of the match, presented by Omen by HP. Congratulations. He takes the first player of the match, but throughout the Overwatch League regular season, we're going to be naming a player every single match. Let us know on Twitter, who are you rooting for? Let's take a look at how the matches have played out today. Of course, if you're just joining us, We've only done one, and it was a hot 4-0 in favor of the Los Angeles Valiant. Coming up next, though,